What's cooking, Juventus fans? Welcome back to your old lady's favorite YouTube channel. Now, we are only a day away, hours away, if you will, from the upcoming match, Juve-Lazio, wrapping up this half of the season as we progress and get ready for a winter mercado, the FIFA World Cup, and much more. We have a couple interesting news stories we need to talk about. Stick with us. We'll fill you in. Ciao ragazzi, welcome back to the bianconerizonechannel. My name is Justin Sovero, and today it is November 12th, 2022. It is a Saturday. Hope you guys are enjoying your weekend. But before we do anything though, I need you guys to help me out. Throw me a freaking bone, if you will. If you could, smash that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell icon, stay notified for all of our latest videos. Now, without further ado, well, actually with a little further ado, let's just talk about this. Obviously, we have a very big match tomorrow against Lazio. Juventus can really cement their status in the Serie A, in the top four, and potentially leapfrog the Biancocelesti. And I think I probably butchered that, but I try to say it, and I always struggle with pronunciations. Why do I do that? Anyway, we can jump over them and then really be in competition with Milan for second place. Right now, it's going to look difficult for Juventus to win the Scudetto. You've got to take down Napoli twice, and you're going to need help from other teams to take down Napoli while continuing on your streak of winning games. And if we know one thing, obviously, the last game for Juventus, they pulled out the win against Verona. Do they look pretty? Do they look good? No, they do not. They look a little bit ugly in getting it done, but we'll take ugly wins over losing any day, right? You can't drop it. If you're not dropping points, you're good with me. But anyway, as we go forward into this Juventus Napoli, hopefully something will happen. And one thing that they can really do is try to better themselves in the Mercado if they really want to try to compete with the top team, obviously, of Serie A. Let's get into it, the news stories of what we have for you today. Well, one guy who's been important for Juventus in competing with the top teams of Serie A, which is very, very interesting for me to say the least, because if you know me, I have not been the highest to him in recent years, but that is Adrian Rabiot. We got to talk about his situation. I mentioned it in recent days. Obviously, Gazzetta dello Sport is here reporting that Adrian Rabiot was asking for a 10 million euro season to renew his contract. He wants 10 million euros. He wants a raise from his current amount that he's making. Here's the thing. First off, let's just get the elephant out of the room. Gazzetta dello Sport, some of the sources, not the best. So let's be a little bit more reserved with some of the reactions with this. But at the same time, what have I been saying for the last 3 days? If you watch the videos, the last 3 days, I've talked about Adrian Rabiot. I've talked about his performance, of how he's performing due to it being in a contract year, trying to make that contract money. Now, here's my issue. If that's what he wants, there's no chance in hell that if you believe, let me know you believe this, but like there is no chance in hell that Cherubini, Arriva Bene, you think those guys are going to be out here shelling out 10 million euros a season for Adrian Rabiot, for him to come out and perform after what he's looked like for the last few seasons? I mean, I could be proven wrong, but the one thing, the main story that we've been told is that Juventus are trying to save that money. Little Dicky, you know what I'm talking about. Anyway, so I doubt that Juventus will end up doing that. And it makes sense that Adrian Rabiot wants to make his money, because I think he sees his future being outside of Juventus, outside as a, you know, obviously you talk about Manchester United, that fell through because Veronique Rabiot likes to demand more than she really has a son that's worthy of, and he was already going to get way too much anyway. I know he wanted probably 11, 12 plus more money for lack of performance. Well, during the contract season, now he's starting to actually perform a little bit. He's actually putting in efforts. He's getting goal contributions. He's getting goals himself. But me personally, I've seen enough evidence over the last few years that I cannot be fooled into believing and thinking that this is Adrian Rabiot. Adrian Rabiot hasn't been this. Adrian Rabiot is the guy that shows up, barely does anything. He's the guy who I used to list as the most forgettable player on the pitch. He and Rodrigo Bentancur used to trade back and forth, and I know that's probably not a great comparison given the performance of Rodrigo Bentancur. 5 goals this season for Tottenham. Could it be more on Juventus? I don't know, but I haven't liked what I've seen from him at Juventus until these last few months. So we'll see what happens when it comes to Adrian Rabiot. Will he stick around with the club? Will he go just try to go get that money and get it elsewhere? We know Chelsea, we know potentially Liverpool are out there in the wings waiting for it. We'll see. I just don't believe for any fiber of my being that Juventus will spend 10 million euros a season for Adrian Rabiot to stay at the club. All right, let's continue on. Let's talk about some other options Juventus are looking at in the Mercado. Right now, there's one name that's kind of like but then I really want to, well, actually, they're both but I really want to focus on the other. So let's just get into it. Gazzetta dello Sport is reporting that Juventus is looking for a player on the right who they can alternate with Juan Cuadrado. The Odriozola idea is known. It will be discussed further. That's fine. Odriozola, that's not the one I really want to comment on. Let's just comment on the second one. But Juve is also monitoring Karsdorp in case there's an opening for a loan deal in January. Really? That's the best option you can bring to the table to use on the right instead of Juan Cuadrado is Karsdorp, a player who is, I would say, by all comparison, a worse player than Juan Cuadrado, even as he's performing this season. That's the option that you want to come at me with. Now, here's the thing. I don't want to go too crazy, too ham-fisted with this because I don't know that I believe the reporting. I don't know that I think this is an option that's really going to come to Juventus and that Juventus are going to be, I don't want to say dumb enough, but gullible enough to be like, this makes sense. Let's make this dumb decision, right? I don't think so. I don't believe that my management will make that poor of a decision. But to me, even the idea that media or whoever it is feels like they can float this idea out there. Maybe it's Karsdorp's agent. Maybe he's trying to find feelers. Maybe they're trying to find a landing spot, and maybe they think that Juventus is, gullible. I don't know what word I want to use that's proper, but they think that that's actually an opportunity. I'm sorry. This is not the solution. This cannot be the solution for Juve, even just for the rest of the season. You got to look elsewhere. Please do better than Karsdorp. That's all I ask. Anyway, and then let's go ahead and continue on to more of a lighthearted, fun story. And I say lighthearted, fun story, but what I mean is, a story that it's evergreen. If you're a Juventus fan at this point, it's an evergreen story. And what I mean by that, it's a story that keeps on giving. Until we have a final resolution on this, it's going to keep coming back. It is the cancer that cannot be cured, but it's kind of a good cancer, which is a weird way to say it. And the reason I say that is it's cancerous because it's hurting me because it hasn't happened yet. Right in the lung, right in the heart. But if it does happen, then I'll be happy. Gazzetta dello Sport is reporting saying that a meeting in Turin yesterday happened between Milinkovic-Savic agent and Juventus. The club is aiming to get his yes before the World Cup to avoid a bidding war in the summer. That's what I mean. Obviously, I would love to see Sergej Milinkovic-Savic come to Juventus, wear the black and white stripes, get going, and obviously do what he can do in the midfield. This club needs something like that desperately. If you can get a guy like him in there, the midfield is fixed at that point. At that point, it's done. It's done. It's good. It's a good done. It's baked. The cake is baked. We still need guys that are in the attack to actually be able to produce, like we want to see Vlahovic produce, and then we need some fullbacks. We need to figure out the fullback situation. That being said, when it comes to this news report, when it comes to Milinkovic-Savic, again, until it happens, until we actually see moves being made, until we see Juventus being willing to spend the money to pony up to bring him into the club, I will remain reserved. Again, and this is also, I guess they're talking about him coming to Juventus in the summer. They want to go ahead and make sure that's all lined up and good to go, unless they can find some kind of agreement with Lazio. And I sure as hell doubt that they're going to find an agreement with Lazio to bring him in mid-season. That doesn't make any sense. You're not going to ship off one of your best players mid-season just to make some money off of them. I would doubt it. I would strongly doubt it. If that were to happen, I would love to be wrong. I'll RJ him right now and I'll say it. I'll say exactly what Julian would say. There is no chance in hell. This is what I'm doing right now, guys. Just play along. There's no chance in hell that you will see Sergej Milinkovic-Savic put on a Juventus shirt in January. There's no way they're going to buy him in January. If he does, I will shave my head if Juventus buy him and get him to come to the club in January. I will shave my head. Anyway, that's the latest rumblings and reports. Are you excited about the idea of Sergej Milinkovic-Savic? Do you think it's an option that's just it's destined? It's Sisyphus right now. We are Sisyphus. We're rolling the Sergej Milinkovic-Savic ball up that hill, but it's just going to come crashing back down. Is that a good analogy there for you all? Anyway, let me know your thoughts. Does that excite you at all? Are you ready for this, or is this just, unadulterated hype that's just never going to happen? We dealt with a lot of that throughout the Mercado. Milinkovic-Savic was a part of it. Nicolo Zaniolo for me, as well as some other players. We'll see what happens. You guys let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Or do you think there's other pieces and aspects of the club that need to be turned their attention to? Obviously we talk about the fullback situation. Let me know in the comment section down below. If you haven't already, smash that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell icon, stay notified for all of our latest videos. You can follow me at Justin Sofro. You can follow Julian at Genotti151, Alejandro at AlejandroBZ. Of course, Bianconeri Zone at Bianconeri Zone, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, all that good stuff. I will see you guys next time. Forza Juve, Forza Bianconeri. Say hello to the old lady for me.